Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Love It or Shove It. And today we are talking about jealousy and trust. And my name is Irina Portnova, and I'm here with my co host, Bruno Gel. Hi, Bruno.
Hello, Irina.
I
How
think
are
this
you?
is like one of the topics that a lot of people are talking or pondering upon. And we all, as human beings, face when we have these moments in our life when we feel more jealous than any other time. And obviously, there are certain reasons for that, and this is the emotion, right? So this is emotion that everybody experience in their lifetime. So today we are going to cover different areas of it, and hopefully we'll give you more clarity on how to deal with jealousy and how to go about it going forward. So Bruno, what are your thoughts about underlying causes and triggers? What is something that would make you jealous?
uh, Something that will make me jealous. No,
I'm
like
talking about relationship, right? We are covering the subject of love and relationship. So in relationship, in dealing with the opposite sex, what would
yeah.
trigger you, or what would make you cause to be jealous?
So as I was saying, what would cause me to be jealous? To be jealous. That's the thing. Like in the beginning, right? Like in the beginning of every relationship I have, which honestly I haven't had many. There's also a rule which is like, do not perform toxic jealousy. There's no need for that, right? Because the majority of it is just trying to get attention from the other person, right? And then there's two ways on that. There's sometimes that means like, oh, the person either doesn't get the attention that the person wants, or the person still gets the attention that she wants, but because like she feels that she can fill up the hole, herself hole on herself. She needs someone to do that for her. And that's wrong path, and it will have its damage over time. Also, toxic jealousy for me means flirting with other guys in front of, you know, a woman, because we're talking about women. So as I was saying, like toxic jealousy for me means flirting in front of other guys, right? Flirting too hard for the guy to notice it. And it's unacceptable. That's just wrong and bad. It's disrespectful to the person you're with. You know. Because like, for example, cheating, right? Cheating. For example, cheating is not just kissing somebody else. It's flirting. It's exchanging messages, uh, wanting to have something with the other person, calls. It's just like, and people wanna hide that indirect cheating, with a very direct approach. Um, but yeah, I mean, like for me, cheating, for me, jealousy. Sorry, for me, jealousy. Um, for me, cheating is for example a way of making someone jealous. But the problem is that, oh fuck, like the person actually cheated, right? Because when you go to the extremes to make someone jealous, and you don't kind of understand, like the extremes you're going to make the person jealous. The problem is that extremes are extremes for reasons, because it's too much, right? And even if you're doing it to make someone jealous, the thing is that you're still doing it, right? You just completely forgot of what you're doing and with the intent that you're doing it, right? And it's just, yeah, I know. I mean, I know in personal experience that that is not what you should do ever, because I've seen it with my eyes. And but like I'm kind of like what is for you, what is for you, the most important, um, think that you should like not do, right? In terms of like having somebody jealous, what do you think? What do you think? Uh, what do you think that are the steps for other people to not be jealous? Like what are the steps for people to not get jealous? Like what type of techniques, what type of like steps you should take for someone uh, to give comfort to the other person so the person is not jealous.
That's a very good question. May I just add on triggers and causes? I think one of the most important cause for a lot of people to be jealous of their partners is that self-esteem. A lot of people don't value themselves, so each time they look for that validation from the partner. And sometimes partners, I'm just talking now about, since I'm a woman, now I'm gonna put my feminine side to that perspective. A lot of times men start playing the mind games where originally they would give the compliments, they would be like so happy with the woman that they are together, and all of a sudden they pull back and the woman starts to freak out because she doesn't understand what did she do wrong, like what really happened. So it's all like it triggers her to start worrying about if she's enough, or like what's going on, why all of a sudden that man doesn't pay any attention to her, right? So it's gonna cause a lot of jealousy in terms of like he's not interested, maybe he's interested in somebody else. So I think this is like one of the main triggers for a lot of women, to have that self-esteem and to have that ability to understand who you are and not allowing anybody else to control the way you are, right? So no, my point is no mind games. Like if people start playing mind games, they could play on their own. I'm not going to be participating in one. So this is like number one. Another good trigger is when people really really have bad past experiences, right? Because a lot of times when people go into the new relationship, they always think about what happened with them in the past, what kind of pain they had, what other person caused them, like to go through all these emotions when they were triggered, when they were not appreciated, and when they were caused to feel that jealousy, right? So a lot of times people bring these past experiences into the current relationship. And it's also something that caused, because maybe somebody did something in the past, maybe they actually broke up because, he did something or she did something, right? To cause them to create all of that commotion. And now they kind of start, blowing on the cold water, right? Because they are so scared what this relationship is going to be bringing to them. So it's another trigger that could cause people to be jealous. And as far as my way, I'm very not jealous. I'm not jealous at all, I should say. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of, I think it stems from the belief that I know who I am and I know what I can offer. Because a lot of times, a lot of girls compare themselves to others. And that's the thing, when we start comparing to others, of course, there is always going to be somebody who is younger, who is more beautiful, who is more smart. Like we all have different gifts. But the point is, you have to be very confident in who you are and knowing what you can offer. And then when you are in a relationship with somebody, then you kind of bring that value and you bring these unique experiences. Because at the end of the day, we all are gonna get old at some point. So just being charged up with the fact that, like one day I'm not going to be that pretty enough, or I'm not going to be that skinny enough, this is like very shallow, because there should be something more to the person than just the looks, right? And that's what I'm talking about. When people have these core values, when people have, things that they enjoy doing together, they share similar interests, they go into the different experiences. Experiences is something that really is going to hold them together for the long run. So this is my approach. And being married for over 20 years, I can't say that I was ever jealous. It's just because I know who I am, and I just respect my husband for who he is. And that's basically how we roll. Tell me, please, what do you feel about the signs that you see when that trust has been compromised? Because obviously it's very difficult to build that trust in the relationship, and then once you break it, it's very difficult to fix it. So what are the signs that this trust has been compromised, in your opinion?
So signs that the trust has been compromised. Well, you have several of them, but I think one of them is the fact that like you don't even talk anymore. It's like, I mean, the person used to say a lot to you. The person doesn't say much anymore, right? Because obviously the person feels like you're not listening as well, And like, for example, if you give a woman a roof, if you give a woman a house, she'll turn it into a home, right? If you give a woman cooking stuff, she will make food, right? Point is like, women always double your energy. They always double your effort. Women never want to be below you. They always want to be with you. So if she's not telling you stuff, it's because she thinks you don't give a shit. And it's very important to understand that when women like you, they will always mirror you, and they will copy you, and they will stop doing that when they don't trust you anymore, right? Women will unconsciously start mirroring you, start copying you, because they respect you, because they love you, right? And they will stop doing that when they don't simply do not trust you. And trust is very important, because like a way to rebuild that trust is by simply communicating, right? So it's so easy to sit down and have a conversation. Why is it so hard for people to understand? And people are so tired of themselves and the life they have, both of them. They start to push each other away, right? They try to do so much for them and for the relationship. They start to get tired of it. They start to feel forced in it, right? And both of them start to push each other away by not wanting it anymore because of how much they're trying. But they don't even talk about it. They don't find solutions for them. But the reality is that like they themselves don't find solutions for themselves. And that is really bad and wrong. Because like you can never have a successful relationship if you don't have success inside of you. Inner success attracts more success, especially outside. And like when you know about your life, only then you're ready to kind of be in a relationship. Like how can you expect someone to trust you when you don't even trust yourself? How can you expect someone to trust you and to trust that you're able to handle it when you just can't? and you still want people to like think that, oh yeah, he can or she can and whatever, but not even you yourself believe that. How is that possible? How do you expect it to happen? Or you expect baby Jesus Christ to come down and be like, oh yeah, no, no, it's not. So like, it's just one of those things where trust is very important, because trust requires communication, but you also gotta trust enough to open yourself, right? And the majority of the times, it's never them two at the same time wanting it. It's always one hoping the other person to take the first step. And the majority of that is women hoping men to do it. Women hope men they talk to them. Women hope men they ask them out. Women hope men they do everything first so they can follow them, right? And yeah, it's very easy. It's very easy, very, very, very easy to simply be like, oh yeah, oh, they're men, like let them take charge, whatever. No. Obviously, I don't agree with that, because women are not saying that as in a confident way. They're saying it. They're using that as their advantage to not do anything, right? So they're manipulating that idea and twisting it, right, for their own benefit, right? Simply because they don't have the fucking courage to do it themselves. And it is pathetic. It's incredibly pathetic. And like, that should end, because it is true though. It's like I said, I'm saying right here. It is true that men are men and that men should take the first step. But manipulating that with a twist so you don't do anything and you have men doing that for you, that's not. Sorry. Like, get out of my face. I don't want to hear it. No. Absolutely not.
Bruno, I kind of agree and disagree, because I think it's more like we are speaking out from our personal experience, because I could just talk the same way and bring it completely on the different twist, saying that men manipulate women. Because I've been in that situation, so I know how it works. So, and men are the one waiting for women to come around to them. Also. And to be the first one, like even in the argument, to be the first one to, men expect women to come and be the ones to kind of, make up, to find the peace, to find the words. So it's I would say it's very subjective. We cannot generalize based on our own experience how it is, or people that we are dealing with, because I think it's very subjective. But the point is, it happens on both genders. It does happen. And obviously, to break that trust is one thing, but then to rebuild it, how would you rebuild it? Is there anything that you would do to rebuild that trust?
Yeah, it's like I'm going to like kind of pinpoint something you said. Like, I agree with you. Like, I agree with the fact that like I mean, I'm not saying women are like, like the villains and men are the heroes, because there's, like
they both worse each other. Let me put it this way.
Yes. Like, nobody's a saint here. Like, nobody.
Exactly.
Nobody's a saint, and men are really, yeah, the men are they're in the package, they're in the package.
In your opinion, is there a way to rebuild that trust? Like, once it's broken, is there a way to rebuild it?
Yes, the way to rebuild the trust, right? In a relationship, a way to rebuild the trust is to again take the first step and just put the topic on the table, in a calm way, relax, whatever, and just say, listen, like, I don't feel like we've been talking for a long time. I don't think we actually had a very good conversation in a long time. I would like to sit down with you when you have time. I would like to talk to you in a very calm and like.
Oh, something is with the camera. But I wanted to add, while Bruno is trying to get back, I was just trying to add that Yes, we it's all with the communication. I totally agree, because when we start just close off ourselves and just being then in the situation where each of us is just imagining
Just
something, but not, oh, you were out, so I was like just feeling out for you because your
oh,
camera was frozen. So
oh my
what I
god.
was saying, yes, so I was saying that to add to your point that I agree with you that communication is the key. And sometimes people, when they don't talk to each other, they start
Mhm.
imagining things that
Yeah.
not necessarily true, but they like building like these, like pictures of something
Hmm.
bad, while the best way is just, why don't you just come directly to the person and ask them, rather than just like
Hmm.
making these assumptions, and building all these like imaginations. And usually these imaginations go negative way. They are not about something, oh, that person is good, and we are gonna have this beautiful relationship. It's more of the negative nature. It's more like, like how that person could do this to me, and I deserve somebody better, and pa 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 pa, and it just goes on and on without like really just what it takes. Just sit down and
Hmm.
clarify things for
Because like
ourselves.
it's very easy to scream. It's very easy to like throw things to people's faces. It's very easy to like like blame somebody else instead of blaming themselves. It's very very easy. And the majority of the relationships do that. They scream at each other. Like, and then like the woman like goes away and stuff. And like gets out of the door, and she does that so the man follows her, so she gets that bit of attention, toxic attention as well. I've seen it many 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 times. And it's all toxic. It's just not healthy at all. It's not healthy. And like a lot of women like because that's the thing. It's like, for example, especially like in when it comes to trust, like a woman uh, a woman who doesn't trust their boyfriend, a woman who doesn't trust her boyfriend, it goes as simple as this. She will, first of all, if she doesn't trust him, she doubts him, right? So most likely she will probably try to manipulate him and install doubt in him, right? He didn't do anything, but she will make him believe that he did. So he didn't do anything, she will make him believe that he did, right? Then she will make him unconsciously believe that he actually did something, and then he will apologize for nothing. And then after that, unfortunately, it's because it's not enough, she will continue to hammer on the guy until she feels that she's at the same level as him. And that is obviously, I mean, it's not that it's wrong, because wrong, it's pretty obvious, right? It's childish and narcissistic. And we live in a society where like very easy to call a man narcissist, but I don't think some women really know what they are when they look themselves in the mirror, you know, because like they blame men for this, they blame men for them, they never blame themselves. And and a lot of women simply end up not understanding that they end up doing the same thing that they complain about. And men as well, like obviously, like we said, nobody's a saint, right? But in this case, like so many women blame men for being narcissists that sometimes they are narcissists as well, and they don't even understand how big of a narcissist they're being. Like it's incredible how, again, like a lot of people, they know a lot about other people, but they don't know that much about themselves. They idolize people, but they don't idolize themselves, because for them, what is there to idolize about themselves? Nothing. For all I know, and for all they know, they just blame everything around them but themselves. They simply cannot accept change. And in this case, in terms of relationships, jealousy and trust, right? Uh, it's not about a change of scenery for yourself, but a change of scenery for the both of us. And if you don't want to accept, then not only you're a narcissist, you're selfish. Um, and you have to kind of understand that, uh, not be so rough, know how to speak, be soft with the person that you love, in the right time. It doesn't mean you always have to be soft, but especially when we're communicating and trying to resolve issues and trust, which are very important. And in a past episode, I did mention is one of my four pillars when it comes to having a healthy relationship is obviously the trust we have on each other. You really have to sometimes dig deep to understand how trusting someone is important because you may know it, but if you have never been through it, no matter what it is, that tests the trust within and without, then like in relationships need tests. They do. Sometimes all a relationship needs is people around rumoring about them and stuff, and they're talking about it and like kind of knowing how much they trust themselves. Like knowing how much they trust each other, because people will talk a lot, and in a lot of cases it has a lot of influence, and people end up believing those things. And when people believe those things, the problem is that like some people they believe those things but they never say it. They just act like they're annoyed and stuff, and the other person then doesn't understand, then the other person starts chasing that person and stuff, and then person starts chasing them. That person goes like, oh, but what's wrong, this and that, blah blah. Oh, nothing is wrong, but the person continues to be it's completely childish. That shows you have no trust. Somebody chasing his or her partner because the person who's annoyed simply cannot say how annoyed the person is, right? Oh, I have what's wrong, oh, nothing is wrong, blah 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 blah. This just shows that you don't trust the person, right? Especially when it comes to rumors. Somebody said, oh, like there's a rumor out there that your girlfriend cheated on you, blah blah blah, blah with this guy. It's a rumor, it's a word. People love to ruin good things, and you're listening to some peasants, right, who fucking wish to have the same as you have, right? Why are you listening to them in the first place? If you cannot trust your girlfriend, or if you cannot trust your boyfriend, what are you doing? Have some fun. You don't need to girlfriend or girlfriend to have fun. You can volunteer. Go. You can go to clubs and restaurants, and have one night stands. Have things that make you feel empty more and more because those people don't stay, right? So you continue doing the same thing, right? Because honestly, that's all you kind of think you deserve. Right? Or you can start to kind of trust the person, right? Instead of listening to some bullshit rumors about society saying this and that. Right? And at the same time, something a bit different from this topic, but no matter what people say about you, good or bad, it's publicity. Let them talk. Let them talk. Let them. They talk about you and your girlfriend or you and your boyfriend. They talk about your relationship because talking about themselves, they're irrelevant. They're insignificant, completely insignificant. That's what they are. People talk about other people, whether if it's relationship or individuals, right? Because those people who talk, they're irrelevant. They're insignificant. They talk about other people because that's the only way they will listen. But they never talk about themselves because nobody cares about them. Nobody fucking cares. Literally nobody cares. Nobody cares. And all the stories they have to tell in restaurants and clubs are all the same because their life is the same year after year after year. That's all they do. That's it. That's it. So keep doing you, keep living your life, keep living your relationship, ignore the rumors, ignore this, ignore that. Trust your girlfriend, trust your boyfriend, trust the people who never gave you doubts about. Because if nobody gives you doubts, then what's the point? Like, if nobody gives you a reason, right? If the person you're with does not give you a reason for you to have doubts about them, no matter what other people say, why would you trust other people? No, trust what you see, not what you hear. trust what you see, not what you hear. And I think like that is very important. Is trusting what you see, not what you hear, because words don't mean actions. Like whether you see it or not, whether people, whatever, no matter what people talk, either your girlfriend or your boyfriend prove you more than all the fucking rumors around, right? Because you can see how much a person is invested in your relationship, right? You can see that. It's obvious. You can see that. You can see the amount of effort, how invested, the attention. Um, I don't know, like even a simple smile. Like if a woman gives you a smile in the morning every time you wake up, and she stops giving you that smile, that means something. That just does. That means something. It means a lot, though. Tell you what, it means a lot. But yeah, I mean, like, um, communication is very important. Communication is super important. Like, honestly, communication fixes things in ways that it's a cheat code for a relationship. Really, like, communication is a cheat code, a complete cheat code. Like, and it's good because like it regains the trust, right? It regains the trust, gives you exactly what you need in a relationship, which is trusting each other. You know, it's super important. And like, for example, another reason, and I'll let you continue after this, um, because I've been going on for too long. Um, the reason trust is also very important is because, like, for example, why is trust so important for me? I'm in a journey right now. I'm in my 20s. I'm in a journey that I want to fulfill in the most magnificent, extraordinary ways possible, because that's my objective. Those are my objectives, right? I cannot have some girl with me, right? I need to have a proper woman who I can trust and she can trust me. Because let's imagine everything goes to shit, right? If she doesn't trust me, she will leave. If she doesn't love me, she will leave. If she was always using me, she will leave. But if she does love me, if she does trust me, if she does this, she will stay. And you want people who stay, right? That's it. You want people who stay. You don't need 1,000 outsiders. You need one insider or two, right? And you can take over a country, right? That's all you need. You don't need to have everybody around you, because everybody doesn't know nothing. Everybody knows everything. That's what everybody does. They know nothing. They want to know. They don't know shit, right? But what you do know is exactly what you do need. And what you do need is having the right people with you, a right woman, right? Because in this case, I'm a man, right? Which is a matter of second. Will be in a second. You just need the right woman, right? Your family, your friends. That's it. You don't need nothing else from anybody, and you can take over the country. That's it. As long as you have the right people, the people who love you, support you, care for you, listen to you, give you a chance for you to explain yourself without trying to manipulate you constantly. You know, those people, those people are the ones. They're the chosen ones in your life. That's it. That's it, really. You know, and you also need then also when you don't need a woman. When you do, when a woman does come into your life, make sure to cherish her, make sure to show them how much you care for her, make sure you love her, right? In the most, in the most beautiful ways possible, your way, not other people's way, your way. She fell in love with you, with your way. She didn't fall in love with a fucking bum on the street way, you know. So like, be you at all times. And again, communication is very important. And now I pass the microphone to Irina. and I
Let
will
me see my microphone if it works well.
and
Thank
I
you.
will I will ask you something.
Yes.
For example, when it comes to like relationship, like for example, in terms of relationship, like jealousy and trust, right? So we talked about the triggers, we talked about positives and negatives, we talked about consequences, right? We talked about how men show that jealousy, how women show that jealousy. And now I would like to ask you, for a jealous person, right? Um, what is the best way for them to see that is their problem, not really the other person's problem?
That's such a great question. I think it all stems from having that self reflection, because a lot of times we don't notice our actions, right? And sometimes we have somebody else to point it out to us. So let's say if you are dating somebody, right? And then all of a sudden that person comes back to you and say, you know what? I feel like you are invading my personal boundaries. And how could it be reflected, right? How could it be reflected? For instance, if the person is like always trying to be on the case of another person, like asking where they are, trying to check their phone, trying to check their email. This is, I think it's already like invasion of the personal boundaries, because we all have to have that level of trust where we know that we are independent individuals and we are functioning on our own. So would that other person love that be checked on everything? I don't think so. So like the first thing is to always put yourself in the shoes of the other person and see, would I like to be watched by somebody else the way I'm trying to watch that person, right? If the answer is no, this is like a number one signal saying, you know what, something has to be changed. And then obviously it's all about like trying to also give enough space for that person to spend time with their friends, because sometimes I hear the stories when people get together, it's like there are no friends anymore, because that woman or that man, they don't appreciate that their partner has somebody else to spend time with, so they want all the attention, they want all the dedication just to themselves. And I think it's also like another signal that should trigger you figuring out that something is wrong. You're trying to be over possessive, right? And obviously I think that the best way is just to listen to what the other person has to say, to see if any behaviors are changed. Because if there is lack of communication, when people are not really expressing themselves and giving the clear messages about how they feel about it, you could even notice it in actions. So either you're going to hear from the person, like the person is going to express and say, you know what, I need some air to breathe. Just like don't try to like step over my boundaries. Or if this person is not expressive, this person could actually show you in actions. How? You'll notice that something is different about the way they act around you. You'll notice maybe they are not as talkative as they used to. You notice in their mood swings. So there should be, so for us, it's always good to notice how the partner behaves in order to see what might be wrong, right? And also for us to be receptive to hear the messages, not to like jump with the conclusions or trying to defend right away, right? So rather than attacking, because a lot of times people coming from attack is like the first defensive mechanism. It's like if I'm gonna attack the person is gonna like be a victim in that whole story. But just to understand and reflect and trying to understand and also sit with your emotions. It's so good to sit with your emotions and just analyze and understand, like, why am I behaving this way? What causes me to act this way? And sometimes it takes time, and then it just takes the practice not to be this way. Because like, maybe jealousy sometimes it's flattering because you feel like somebody cares for you, but at the same time it could be like suffocating. A lot of couples actually, like, split because when they feel suffocated, that, like, the girl is super jealous or the guy is super jealous, and the relationship cannot function because these just remember, these are two different individuals that come together. So they come together to create something beautiful, create something powerful. And when the jealousy comes in and people are starting acting weird, like they own that other person, they become more possessive, they become more jealous. Maybe an initial stage, it could be like, fun and entertaining. You feel like, that person really cares for you, that person loves you. But at the point, it's going to reach to the point that the person is going to feel like, that person doesn't own her own life or his own life, right? Because it's like, I think it goes both genders. There are a lot of jealous women, and there are a lot of possessive men.
Yes.
So I would say it's just like a lot of, right, Bruno. So it's like a lot of self-reflection, communication, and see what, like, if the person can't communicate, then there should be some other signals that you could pick up, some other signs in their behavior, in their actions, for you to understand that, for you, I'm just talking about in general, right? Like, for anybody to understand that there should be something to work on, because we are all not perfect, right? We all have our emotions, and the point is, when we learn how to understand our emotions, how to accept and how to work on our emotions to become better at this, so the relationship could thrive, rather than just going through all these like arguments and triggers, and just like causing more pain and damage. So I think it's very important, just like, also build that self-esteem, because a lot of people don't have that self-esteem. What is the cause for jealousy? Like, when person knows that I'm good enough, I don't compare myself to others, because I know there is something unique about me that the other person likes. So that other person is going to be there regardless, right? And this is like another thing also. What very helpful is, the other technique is mindfulness. Because when we focus, like, when we are triggered with something, when we are getting nervous, it's good to like, do something that keeps us grounded. Maybe take that walk in the park, or maybe just meditate, or maybe just go to the gym, right? To have some physical activity and get ourselves into like our normal state, or whatever it is. Just find something, find the hobbies to pursue, because there should be something. When our mind is focused on something else, we are not triggered to think of something that we don't want to think about. So rather than just like constantly playing the same part, the same scene, like, oh my gosh, he looked at her and she was like talking to him, and then like she was flirting with him, and then it's something that's like like, it starts to kind of like build more images. Like I said, a lot of times we are prone to just imagine things that are not really true, rather than just talking about it over. So we just start imagining things, and this is like causing us more pain. But rather focus on something that like something like hobbies. Get something for yourself, do involve yourself with something, and just remember that you are unique, you are beautiful, and no matter what, if at the end of the line that person is not going to choose you, there is going to be somebody who really appreciates you. There's always going to be somebody who knows who you are at your essence, and who is going to be there for you. So there is no way to like, keep accommodating somebody else and be afraid to lose that person. If that person meant to be with you, they would hear you out. They would do something to, find you somewhere in the middle. So, it's all about communication. It's all about reaching the agreements. It's all about expressing, look, this is something that triggers me. I don't feel comfortable. And that for another person to really, say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And let's, let's work on that, it's not gonna happen again. So it's all about communication. Communication is the key to everything. But the point is, for people to be more conscious about it and to have like this civilized communication and civilized relationship, so that jealousy and trust is not like really fighting with each other, but kind of, like I said, the jealousy is the emotion, so it's always going to be there, but not to trigger that to the extent when the person is not going to be able to sleep, not going to be able to eat, because they're all like charged up. So it's very important to have that balance. And if anything, always seek the professional help. If you really get stuck into the point where you're feeling like you just, like in that situation where you cannot find the solution for yourself, there are therapists, there are psychologists, there are coaches, a lot of people who can help you to build that, because everything stems from our thinking. How we think about ourselves, how we value ourselves, that's exactly what we are projecting to everybody else. Because if the person values themselves and they say, I'm not going to allow another person to do these things to me, guess what? Another person is not going to do that. Because they are going to feel it that, if they continue doing these things, they're just going to lose that person, unless they really don't care. But then you know who that person was.
Mm-hmm.
Bruno, anything, like any last words that you wanted to add?
No, I think we kind of said it all. Especially now, when you were so detailed with all the explanation, all the tips and techniques that you can have, very important and very, very much needed for, I believe, everyone that will watch this, because obviously relationships is a topic that involves a lot of people, really influences a lot of people's lives. You're sharing a house, you're sharing time and effort, and you're sharing a life, really, until that person becomes your life, becomes a part of your life, and it does influence a lot. And yeah, you kind of said, we were really specific. We were both really specific. But yeah, I mean, just for all of you listening, and obviously in the show, remove your ego. Okay, calm down, relax. Okay, like, don't be that jealous. Calm your ego down. Remove your ego. It's alright. It's okay. Probably nothing happened. You're just making your ego is telling you stuff that is not true. Relax. You never know. First of all, you never know until you've seen it. Number two, you never know if you know it. Okay? So think consciously. Be conscious about your decisions. Be conscious. Right? Be conscious. Be conscious. Even if the person then lies to you, right? And says like, oh, are you crazy or something, or this or that, or whatever. Even so, at least you ask. At least you didn't make any more. Even if in the end you end up finding out that, don't go straight into, oh, he's cheating on me, or she's cheating on me, or I knew it. No, you don't know anything. You don't know anything. Just relax. Okay? Relax. Calm down. Be conscious. Make conscious decisions. No screaming, no fighting. Simply talk. Right? No matter what happens in the end, simply talk. Be an adult. Talk like one. Right? Don't be a stupid child. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I also wanted to add, although we cannot control other people and their behaviors, but we always control ourselves and how we react to that. So as Bruno mentioned, be civilized, be adult, and handle it in a proper manner. And if anybody would like to participate in our show, please email us. We will be happy to have you as a guest. We are gonna start having guests starting next episode, and in another episode we are gonna be talking about what is the relationship deal breaker. So have a beautiful, beautiful day. Remember that jealousy could be under control, and healthy amount of it is good, but more than that, it becomes very toxic for yourself in the first way, and then for other person as well.
Yes.
All the best.
All the best.